All right, when we left off, we had just created all of these CRUD workflows for the different resources and some of the nested resources in our application. However, we hadn't really completed the forms. Now, in the future, I think Bullet Train is going to do a lot more of the form field sort of auto population based on the field type and maybe some other metadata that we provide on the command line. But right now it doesn't. So we're still at a point where we have to do that, even though it's done so much for us. So we're just going to go through that step right now. And I'll show you how there are still some things that Bullet Train provides that make it easier to populate those form fields and add the functionality for the relationships that we're looking for. So I will, with the help of some copy pasta code from other projects I've worked on, I'm going to show you how we will, polish up these form fields. All right, so let's go back to our project and go into our domain model. I'm just going to use this as a reference to jog my memory because it's been a few hours since I've looked at this code. Anywhere we have a belongs to, this isn't really probably a great example because this is auto created, and so actually we don't want to be able to. So for a meal plan meal, for example, so if we go to a meal plan, so we have this meal plan. If we go to this meal plan and edit it, we don't want to allow people to edit the which meal of the day this represents or the date. So in the form field for meal plan meal, in the form, I'm going to get rid of the meal of the day ID and the date. That's not modifiable. And to protect that, I'm also going to go into the meal plan meal controller and remove those parameters from being modifiable. So those are no longer modifiable. Name isn't something that it should be able to modify. It's just the meal. Now, in this case, actually the meal is not a text field, even though it is here. So what I'm going to do, on my other screen, I've got another project open that has some of these select fields already configured. So I'm going to go find one as an example. Now there should be examples in the, there should be some examples in the documentation, and I'll add those probably as soon as I finish recording this video. So I'm going to modify this elsewhere. Like I'm going to modify it off screen so as not to be too confusing. But there is a form helper. So if we want to select field for, what's the attribute name? It's meal ID. And the options are going to be our team's meals. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second. I'm going to paste it in here. Done this work off screen, sorry. So we're going to actually replace the meal ID field with a select field. And the options for the select field are going to be, there's a blank option. So there's a default that this is not required. But then we're also going to populate it with all of this family's available meals. And for each of those meals, we need the meal name and the meal ID for this select, to populate this select field. And I think that should do the trick. Let's see what happens when we reload the form now. It worked. And we have a meal. And so we'll go ahead and update that meal plan meal. So that updated that particular slot on the meal plan. Now, the reality is we're going to come through and polish up this workflow because we don't need to look at individual meal plan meal records. What we're going to do, we have this table here. We're going to clean this table up so that it actually is like more like a calendar, which we'll be able to do. So in fact, why don't we do that right now? So meal plan meals, anytime so when it brought us back to this page, actually we want to go back to the meal plan. So the way that we do that is we open up the meal plan meal controller, and instead of showing a meal plan meal, we will redirect to the meal or the meal plan, sorry. That should do it. So we can no longer view a meal plan meal. It'll bring us back here. And then in this table, I'm going to completely modify this table, in fact. So this is going to be crazy, but what I'm going to do is for the meal plan meals, I'm going to modify this table to be more like a calendar layout. So that's the index partial for the meal plan meals. That's what this file is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these headers. And the header is going to be the days of the week. So we can do what is the model called again? Meal of the day. Oh, it's just the 7 days. So 7 times do day of the week. So for the 7 days of the week, we will do we'll say that it is the meal plan week of plus day of the week days. You'll remember that from when we were auto-populating this thing. So plus that many days, that should do the trick. So that should create 7 headers. And then I'm going to get rid of all of these, because none of that matters. I'm going to get rid of all of these. This is the only one that matters, and it's going to look a little weird at first, but they can't delete. So the only thing that they're able to do, and in fact, I'm going to add this in the ability file. I'm going to say that in the ability file, a user can only edit their meal plan meals. They can't add them, they can only edit them, and they can't delete them. So the delete won't matter, the edit doesn't matter, but we will use that path so that when they click on the label, it will go to the edit, and it will only show that link if they can edit it. If they can edit the meal plan, we'll show the edit link. Else, we just show the but it doesn't have a name. So it should be Actually, you know what? We can do that. This is actually kind of cool. So the meal plan meal can have a name, and it does probably meal plan meal. Yeah, okay. So it's going to be a little weird. You'll see what's happening when we run it. I'm not even 100% sure what's going to happen, but so here we go. And so we'll take this 7 times day of the week, and for on each row, this is going to be a little interesting. We're going to we'll end up loading these meal plan meals a little differently, I think, than actually, you know what? This will work. So for meal plan meals, it won't be dot each. So what we'll do is the rows of this table are going to be for each meal of the day. And there's no order on those actually, so we'll do order by ID. For each meal of the day, create a row. Whoops. And then for each row, we'll have the different days of the week. So how is this going to work? 7 times, this should be a TD. And we have the meal plan week of plus days, day of the week. So we are going to take the meal plan meals and say find by day of the week, day of the week. And not just that day of the week, but also this meal of the day. And this isn't awesome because it is, I don't know, it's not maybe the best place to put that logic, but all right, so now we have the meal plan meal, and we already have this logic from down here. So I'm going to get rid of this loop and replace it with this loop. And let's see what happens. All right, so it says meal plan. It's not happy about 7 times meal plan. Oh, it's because I didn't. So it's saying day of the week does not exist. What is that? Day of the week ID. Meal of the day, day of the week. So day of the week is no, I did something wrong here. Meal of the day. Meal plan meals has a different date. Oh, that's too bad, actually. Oh, that's messed up. So I actually hard set the date in that table. That was a bit, that doesn't, I don't love that. But that's fine. I'll just use the meal plan week of. And that should do the trick. This is meal of the day, and it should be finding it by meal of the day. Great, so that should work. All right, day of the week. All right, so we have, yeah, that doesn't look like it's doing what it's supposed to. But you do see the headers. The headers are, you have the 7 days, and then we want to, for each of those days, have a row, and in the row we want to have a, should be a TD, and that should fix everything. Perfect. There we go. Now, so this is the idea of the meal plan. Now the names are a little more interesting. We know that it's breakfast, lunch, and supper. So we don't need that to be the name of this meal plan meal record. What we can do instead, I think, is just use the meal's name. And then maybe say, yeah. All right. And so meal. There we go. Craft dinner for breakfast. No lunch. So we can go in here. Edit. Set it to craft dinner. Oh, I am not authorized. I was authorized to edit, but not to update. So we'll make that update. Oh, wait a minute. Meal plan meal. Update manage. Huh. That's weird. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to investigate that afterwards. I don't know why it would not let me update. Let me double check in that controller real quick. Meal plan, meal controller. It's all happening in, I'll have to look into that afterwards. Might be a framework bug or might be a bug in my app. Either way, whatever. We'll let them manage it for now. And you can see I'm now selecting craft dinner for breakfast for like every meal. And yeah, so that works. So we are good with the meal plans. So if we go back to the dashboard, there's some other models. Actually, okay, so we'll leave it at that. That's one solid example of us kind of updating the meal plan record. There's a lot more we can do to polish this, but first I want to get all of the data management working, and then we can polish up all of the labels. So I'll leave it at that, and then I'm going to start recording another video. Thanks.